Okay, there we go. And we'll give everything a minute.
Okay. Anyway.
There we go. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, doop. Okay, we'll just give it a few minutes.
These nifty coasters. Are we live?
We are. We're on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Justin Jallo's here. Jennifer Delaney,
Justin!
Rich, and Elle. Oh, awesome. Another great show. Thank you, Rich. Thank you.
Ah, piece of cake. No, it was a lot of fun.
Fluff Chick Production says hello, everyone.
Hey, out.
Hey, guys. Wiki Bobby's here. Welcome back, Wiki Bobby. We hope you're feeling better.
It was fun putting that together, trying to go through all that material and see what we can put together so quickly. But, you know, I always want to do better.
Yeah, and we were just trying to figure out if we should live stream tonight or save it for next week. Oh, next week we won't be live streaming.
Oh, we didn't mention that.
We didn't.
No. But that's okay.
We'll make a post. Yeah,
we'll do.
Because we're going to be at Akron Nomicon Saturday, February 1st. So we can't live stream and then be there early in the morning the next morning.
We need our beauty sleep.
I need my beauty rest, yes.
And I need my booty rest, whatever that means. It's going to be, so we usually traditionally do that if we have a gig.
If there's an appearance on the weekend, then we can't be live Friday. It's
too much.
Just too much.
Yeah.
KB's here, the prize winner. I'm here too, but I'm sleepy. Greg's here, Joseph Lawrence, Jennifer Delaney, Richard Becerra, Davis. Hi guys, love the beeps.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Good movie tonight. I mean, to me, there was a lot of air in that movie. In other words, there was like the dialogue is very limited, so it was a lot to. I was able to slip a lot of cool stuff into the sound bites and sound drops and stuff into the movie. So that was a lot of fun for me. David
Stoner is still here. Let's see, Starman fan is here. Cool,
man.
We got a nice little group going. So we'll get started.
Yeah.
We're gonna chat with you guys a little bit. Welcome to the Hairy Scary Hangover.
That's right. The Mummy the Monkey's Hairy Scary Hangover. This is our after show. The
after show chat show, don't you know?
Yes, where we discuss whatever the heck we want to.
Yes.
For a good portion of at least an hour.
And I'm going to show some leg for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to put a blanket on because it's really cold in here.
Should I show my legs instead?
Sure. Well, you've got hairy legs, so your legs are always warm.
Yeah, that's true. Forget it.
I need more bandages, I think.
Hey, thanks, Neil. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
So glad you guys are doing a hangover, says VHS Mikey.
Yeah, we love doing them. We just have to have all the the things right to be able to do it. But we got the time tonight. And some ideas to talk about, and it is cold, but you know what? That's not the problem.
Yeah, here at the Erie Cinematary,
it's very drafty.
One room could be like 80 degrees, and then the next room is like super cold,
below 80.
It's like a freezer. So, oh well.
I wonder if these guys are any indication what we're going to talk about tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, so we're going to chat about a couple movies we've seen recently.
Okay, so what's the topic for tonight?
Or not necessarily a topic, but
okay.
We saw this the other day, and it was such a good movie, and it was a movie I've been wanting to see for a while.
Roller Gator?
Not Roller Gator.
Oh.
Roller Gator was the opposite of that. But we watched Stan and Ollie.
Finally.
It came out in 2018, and we finally got to see it. Stan and Ollie, based on Laurel and Hardy. The comedy dynamic duo that was, iconic and...
Yeah, and then even the title of the movie is pretty clever because it's they're known as Laurel and Hardy.
Yes.
But you don't want to. I mean, instead of calling it the movie that, they just use their first names.
First names.
Stan and Ollie.
And it's such a cute movie. It's I think still on Tubi for maybe a few more days. So if you guys are looking to see where you can stream it.
Yes.
Tubi still had it, or check your local library.
Yes, Mo-Fei-Chen. It's the one with Steve Coogan as Stan Laurel, and then John C. Reilly as Oliver Hardy.
And I didn't know that his nickname was Babe.
Babe, yeah, they called him Babe.
Yeah.
They called Oliver Babe in real life.
It was like some nickname behind the scenes. They would call him Babe.
I got to tell you, Babe. I mean, I would, and the funny thing about watching that movie, number one is so you have a lot of different comedy acts from back then, which started in vaudeville.
Yes.
A lot of these sort of comedy type of dudes and men and women came up doing comedy acts. And the Three Stooges were out of vaudeville, Moe, Larry, Curly, Shemp, all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then so were Laurel and Hardy. Abbott and Costello, I don't think started in vaudeville, but they have roots there, obviously.
They gained popularity in the 1950s.
Yeah, with their routine stuff like that. But it was still based on vaudevillian type comedy. And if you know what vaudeville is, vaudeville was back in the 1800s.
Started out in the 1800s, like type of shows, like
traveling shows,
traveling stage shows.
It was called vaudeville, vaudville, vaudeville, and
way before film.
Yeah, vaudeville, actually, VAUDE or something like that. But anyway, but look it up. But it's that was just the name that they called the whole circuit that would perform here and there around the country.
Like traveling shows, and a lot of them were like comedy or like
there was magicians,
singers, dancers, magicians.
All kinds of entertainment. Yeah, it was basically cable before there was cable. TV.
Smiling Jack's Video Vault. Hi, howdy, folks. And Gary Smith says it is a fantastic movie.
Yes, and
we loved it so much, and there were parts of it where I got a little teary-eyed. It was really sweet.
Yeah, we're fans of the Laurel and Hardy movies and shorts, of course, and
I love Laurel and Hardy.
So a lot of people go right to it's almost like Beatles or the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Like, who's your favorite? Yeah. I really do I love the Three Stooges, I
like them too, but after a little while, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
But I really...
I couldn't watch them for hours.
But if I had to choose, I would choose probably Laurel and Hardy, because I just love the dynamic between these two. Both of them they're just so out of it. I mean, and how they function on a daily basis. Strangely enough, that's what these shows and bits they totally know what they're doing with the characters. These guys know what they're doing.
Yes.
The whole point is they are totally oblivious to anything, but it works every time.
So cold.
I
got my Snuggie.
Yeah, good. I love Laurel and Hardy a lot, and we both enjoy their comedy stuff. So watching Stan and Laura was kind of, and while we're watching the movie, we're on our phones looking up stuff like, what did that wife look like? What is this true?
Because we wanted to know how much it was based on real life, or how much they had some creative liberties where they
because they
where some of it was just in the movie and not in real life, or not part of their story.
So this movie, besides being a good biopic on Laurel and Hardy, was a good example of good casting, good writing, good pacing. The movie went by very quick, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 90-minute movie.
It's like an hour and a half movie, but the pacing and everything, goes by pretty quick, where you get into it and you don't realize how much time that time has passed.
The costume, the set design.
Because you keep wanting to see more because it's so good.
I
love that opening scene where you see them. It's supposed to be in the 1930s in their heyday, when they're working under Hal Roach Studios.
Oh, yeah.
And you see the studios like it's supposed to be behind the scenes, and you see all these costumes and props.
They're on a sound stage, yeah.
Oh, it's just so cool, because it looks like it could have been authentic. You know what I mean? Like the scenes and the costuming and everything just takes you back.
You get lost in the world.
You get lost in there.
You feel like you're there.
Yeah, you feel like you're all in. You're like in their world.
Nothing takes you out of the movie. It's again the color palette that they used, the costuming, the fact that they I don't know how they did some of the shots, whether they blocked off an actual part of a city somewhere and took it over.
Some of the city sines,
or for CGI, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was just so cool.
How they recreated some of that stuff. Again, it's not when you watch sci-fi movies and fantasy, you right away know that most of the CGI look like. But this, you're like, well, if this is CGI,
their wardrobe, the hair, the makeups, everything looked on point, from those time periods.
And these guys looked just like them. Their mannerisms were perfect. Kudos to those two guys for portraying them. I think they won something. Did you do any research on what the film won?
I don't know if the film won any awards. It might have.
It should,
because it was pretty great.
It was so great. I would recommend that one. It's not a horror movie, but
no, not a horror film.
It's an entertaining movie.
We like comedy stuff too, so we thought we'd talk about it because it's a damn good movie.
It's really good.
So yeah, it starts out like you get to see them in their heyday in the 1930s, and as time goes on, it fast forwards to, I believe,
16 years
1954.
Later. 16 years later passed.
16 years later.
After the height of their and then you see that
they started as a comedy duo in the 1920s, and they were in silent film.
Yeah. And
then 1930s was like when they got really big.
A friend of ours, Pete, is a film aficionado. He actually collects big 16 millimeter film reels, and we would go over his house, and he would screen like Laurel and Hardy shorts he had because he liked them too. And we would be back there, with beers and snacks, laughing our asses off, watching Laurel and Hardy shorts and stuff.
Some good ones like Babes in Toyland.
Swiss Miss is
the Swiss one, Way
Swiss
Out
Miss
West
is really good.
And Another Fine Mess.
Yeah, there's so many.
So it fast forwards to 1950s, and the movie focuses on their last tour together.
Yeah.
And they used to tour all over, making appearances in the States, but this was their first European tour. They toured the UK.
Yeah, they had a live act.
Like England and Scotland and Ireland. So they were touring all over, and they had a stage. They were doing a stage show, a comedy show, and the scenes for that are great. And their tour started off really slow. Half the seats were empty. And it shows their struggles on what they're going through with their last tour. And
their personal issues, with finance.
Personal stuff, personal finances. Bad, yeah. And then they were hoping that this last tour would fund a film that they were wanting to work on.
Robin Hood.
It was a Robin Hood-inspired type of movie that they wanted to make. They never got the financing for that last movie. So you get to see all the struggles with them trying to get a backer to promote, to help them financially to fund this movie, and it just never happened. But they had a great last tour, and it was just really bittersweet because it was the last time they ever performed together like that.
Yeah, Gary Smith said they took liberties, which they usually do with the movie, with Stan and Ollie. Stan was never mad at Oliver for working with Harry Langdon in Zenobia. And,
I was wondering about that.
And the Robin Hood was an earlier project than depicted in the film, which I thought I thought there was some of the gags they used in the fantasy when Stan Laurel was fantasizing about a scene where Oliver Hardy's on a log and he falls in the water, pulls a fish. I think I saw that in one of their something that they did.
Yeah, they reenacted some of the scenes
they might have based it on
their popular movies.
Yeah, but with most movies in Hollywood, they do take liberties and they kind of fudge some of the facts.
Now, the Robin Hood one, I think there was a movie that they didn't get finished, but maybe it wasn't the Robin Hood one. I think it was supposed to be called something else. They did have a film together, I think, in 1951. That was their last movie together. It was early 50s, and I don't remember the name of it right now. I'd have to Google it. But, after that tour, that was their last time doing stuff together.
Yeah.
So, it was just really cool to see that, it's a different take on things, because with some movies, they're going to show, people in their heyday at the top of their game.
Yeah.
This one was focusing on their last tour. It was more bittersweet, had some sad moments, but it was still really good.
Without giving away the whole movie. And it's just mainly a biopic based on loosely based on factual stuff, which you can obviously do your own research and find out more about them, what really happened. But it was done very well.
A Tall K or Utopia. Yes, that was what it was. Yeah. Thank you, Gary. That was their last film.
Yeah. But good stuff. Good movie. If you want to just sit down and and let an hour and a half just melt right by and be entertained. We totally recommend. 10 years later, whenever it came out, Stan and Ollie. So check it out.
Yes. We watched it
now,
like 6 years later.
Right after that, we looked up Laurel and Hardy stuff on YouTube, I think it was, and found, or was that or
oh
Tubi?
no, Tubi had, because right after that movie played, then it went to so in the 1950s they repurposed some of their 1930s content and put it on television. So watched, they had like a TV series where they would replay those some of those old movies.
And we watched
features.
We watched the Bohemian Girl. I think it was called that. Remember, it was the Gypsies.
Oh yeah. I was trying to remember.
Yeah, it was called. Yeah. And it had and there was the little girl when she was little was played by Darla Hood from Little Rascals,
because it was under Hal Roach Studios, and that was around the same time as Little Rascals.
Yep.
And if you worked for a studio, if you were on contract with that studio, they would of course put you in different things.
Yeah,
the studio put out.
And there's some of Little Rascals popped up. I think Spanky played in, what was it, The Little General or something like that. Spanky McFarlane had a role in that. And some
I love the Little Rascals.
Yeah, but now. Of all time, Little Rascals, Hal Roach, not the Our Gang, the later ones with Mickey and and Froggy, which I like those too. But I'm a huge fan of the original Little Rascals, Hal Roach, Little Rascals, from the Silence up until Spanky got too big to be wearing that outfit he was wearing until he was too big. But man, I
even liked the really cheesy 1990s movie they put out.
I refuse to see it because I'm too much of a.
I need to see it again though to see if it's still if I still liked it. But when it first came out, I liked it.
It's probably fine, but again, the bar was set really high with the original Little Rascals. But
right, it's hard to top. You can't.
If I had to take a
the original is the best.
But I would have to take that over Laurel and Hardy, but I would do Laurel and Hardy. Or take Laurel and Hardy. I wouldn't do them. I would take Laurel and Hardy. Well,
oh boy.
I would take Laurel and Hardy over the Three Stooges catalog. It's like that's my pecking order. It's
okay.
It's Rascals, Laurel and Hardy, Stooges, and then Abbott and Costello, which I love. I mean, I just saw that Who's on First bit that they do. It's so brilliantly. It's just an amazing.
There's a ton of comments here, bit. And I can't read it.
Thank you, James Muscarella.
Let me put it on my
happy you're doing
device
better.
Here. Sorry.
Let's see. You have to stop when you hear me think it's. Let's see. General Spanky. I knew it was something like that. Thank you, Gary. I just called it General Spanky.
Oliver Hardy was in The Silent Wizard of Oz. Oh, well, I wonder if that's the one I found online a couple
years ago.
Hold up,
John Biggins. I would watch it. I just never had any interest watching it. But I mean, I'll watch it.
Are there any comedy duos today? I can't think of any.
I think of the same thing.
Yeah. I'm wondering.
Do the Wayans brothers kind of?
I don't know.
Like that go out and perform as a comedy duo?
Yeah, they go out and perform as a duo. I can't think of any, honestly.
Everything is like movie now. That stemmed from from the vaudeville days when you would be like this act. You could take anywhere.
Yeah, and a lot of it was like props and visual. And
speaking of Big Chuck and Little John, they had an act. So they had an act that they would do. They had a lot of stuff like that when they based what they did not on TV. Yeah, that's
true. They did. Yeah.
They had they had multiple things these guys would do when they would do personal appearances, which they did a lot of. They had like card tricks, jokes that they would set up. They had whole routines. Chuck and John. I'm sure Houlihan and Big Chuck probably had similar things when they would do public appearances. Mm-hmm. But I've seen the Big Chuck and Little John stuff, which was totally different from what they did on TV. They actually, you could hire them or have them MC something, and they would bring an act.
Jason says Martin Short and Steve Martin.
They are they perform together in a TV show, but do they do stuff outside of that? I mean,
that I don't know.
Do they pop up at a club?
Do they do tours and do appearances?
No, I don't think they do. They
like
do interviews,
how some others, like
it's different. It's a different thing, though,
different vibe, yeah.
Because this what they did with Laurel and Hardy and Three Stooges and not Little Rascals, but those and Abbott Costello, that was still stuff where they would actually go to a club, a physical place.
Oh. This is a really neat comment. I wonder if it's true. Stymie's hat was given to him from Stan Laurel.
It might have been.
I bet you it was.
Here you go.
Especially if they all worked under the same studio.
Sure, makes sense. Yeah,
that would be really
cute.
And
you said, when you were reading about Stan Laurel, he trained with Charlie Chaplin.
He did. He worked with Charlie Chaplin as an understudy.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
That's pretty epic. Yeah.
Do they have a show together? And that's the other thing, too. If I start watching anything Laurel and Hardy, I start getting into these jags.
Their little mannerisms.
Where I just want to talk like them. I want to do imitations and put them in very odd positions, I always thought it would be funny if someone did Laurel and Hardy, involved with an adult movie.
Oh my gosh!
I would love that.
Watch what you say.
I'm not going to say nothing.
Choose your words wisely.
But you've heard me do the routine.
I've heard you do it, and it's hilarious.
Well, Stanley,
and
here
gross.
We go. It's finally going to
Another
happen.
fine mess you've gotten me into.
I can't believe we're going to get lucky tonight.
Oh gosh!
Get lucky tonight. Don't you know you can't say things like that to a woman?
Oh my gosh!
And his little finger things he does, look at you.
Oh my goodness!
But the funny thing is that it never happens. They set out to bed these women, but of course
never goes.
Everything else happens. They don't even get undressed. It's Laurel and Hardy.
The house catches fire or something, and the women run away and leave.
Yeah. Cheech and Chong. Okay, that's a comedy act.
Yeah, Cheech and Chong. They're hilarious.
I mean, that's 70s, but
it's very
60s,
70s hippie humor. But it's funny. Those guys were great. They're still great.
I just had another thing that I can't say here.
No, don't.
Laurel
you
Hardy.
can tell me later. You can lead a horse to water, but a pencil must be led. Says Gary Smith.
Oh boy.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's stuck in vaudeville. Pencil must be lead.
Let's see. There's more comments here. Wish the duo of Chris Farley and David Spade could be continued, says Meowzack.
Yeah, I think there were some comedians. I mean,
he wishes they were still doing their thing. They were still
are there comedy duos, though? We know a lot of comedians that do stand-up still. I mean, are there any duos, any teams? I know
Mackenzie
improv.
Brothers, Bob and Doug, says Rich.
Yeah, but that's not maybe.
Well,
it was a bit that they did on SCTV.
Well, and you could do stuff on TV and film now where you don't always have to tour. They came from that old school,
maybe
that old school thing where you would go and travel and do a tour
I'll bet
make appearances.
I'm sure there's probably some comedy duos that do stand-up comedy still, but I mean, who are they?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just you don't hear that a lot anymore. It's an old sort of thing.
So there's another movie we watched recently, and it's
now you better see. You should have started with that and then went to the better thing.
I should have.
I don't know why why I brought up Roller Gator at first.
I'm going to the crappy movie.
Oh boy. So
was that on Tubi or where did we find that?
So we have we subscribe to the Riff Tracks.
It's the Riff Tracks channel.
Their app.
Okay, so it's the Riff Tracks
app. Penn and Teller, there you go.
Penn and Teller, yeah, they're good.
That's an app.
And they would travel around and do shows.
That's an app.
Yeah, that's a good app.
I saw them in Vegas years ago. They're very good.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I love anything they do on TV.
I forgot about those guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But it used to be really prolific at one point where there were tons of them.
Oh, yeah, there used to be a bunch of them.
We've long forgotten, too, but now
Abbott and Costello, says James Musgrove.
Yeah, well, that's 50s.
That was 1950s.
We're talking about, is there anything
newer,
contemporary that's similar to that? And there's not that I can think of.
More current or recent. Yeah.
It's an old art, It's not
old school.
The format has changed quite a bit. But okay, now you want to get into Roller Gator. So we
watched a movie on Riff Tracks on their app called Roller Gator.
And if you don't know who Riff Tracks are, they are three of the guys from Mystery Science Theater 3000. Hopefully you know what that is. We have to stay with that. Mm-hmm. It's Mike Nelson, Kevin Murphy, and Bill Corbett. Mm-hmm. They did the voices for Tom Servo and Crow, and who Mike was the guy with the jumpsuit, the second that came after Joel. But they broken off, after that disbanded Mystery Science Theater 2000. Well, that original iteration of it, I know they've revived it.
Yes.
But these three guys took off and did their own thing. They first did something called the Film Crew. They did 4 movies, and then they rehashed that, and they turned it into Riff Tracks.
And Riff Tracks is a better.
Yeah, where they would they provide riffs, making fun of the movie to all kinds of movies. And they had an app for a while. I think you can still get it where they don't have the movie, they just have the riffs, and you have to buy the riffs for like $3, and it syncs up with the movie on an app. Pretty cool. But they also release movies, regular bad movies still, where they either host them live at an event or they put them right to the channel with these riffs, the riff track over the you don't see them at all.
Jennifer Delaney says Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
But they're teamed up in a movie. They don't go on the road.
Yeah, they're not like traveling doing shows.
I mean, there are
they've done stuff together.
There's comedy duos within TV shows and movies. Yes,
but you don't see a lot of people doing like.
But we're talking about a live act.
Yeah,
where you
similar
go on the road.
to like
a stand-up comic.
Yes.
But it's a duo.
Or vaudeville or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but stand-up comedy in general is the closest thing to vaudeville that's still around. I mean, that performing in front of a crowd, but. What about the duo? What about
there's not many that I
don't
know.
That's
maybe there's someone out there or two people out there and we haven't heard of them yet.
Abbott Costello, really going back to that really quick, was interesting not only because they're who's on first, but it was fun watching them because Bud Abbott played the straight guy and Lou Costello was the goof. But the funny thing is, like, as right as Lou Costello was about something that Bud Abbott would never. Now, what are you talking about? It took forever to get through to this guy.
Yeah.
Every time. But that was. And Lou Costello was always right.
Yeah.
Look. That's a Frankenstein. What are you talking about, a Frankenstein? No such thing. It's standing right behind him. But I love that about that. That's what I thought was always funny.
Yeah. And I liked that they did the crossover with the comedy with the monsters.
Well, they did it for the one movie. With a bunch of movies, actually. Lou Costello did a lot of monsters.
Oh, yeah, with the Universal monsters. Yeah.
They did separate movies of different monsters, and the one with all of them.
Meets the Wolfman, meets
Frankenstein,
Dr.
Jekyll. That's true.
All that, yeah.
That's
so,
true.
Okay, Riff Tracks, Alligator movie. Well,
Roller
Gator.
Yeah.
I was calling it the Alligator movie. Is it
even a movie?
I guess it's a movie. It came out in 1996. It's an independently made film. Oh. Like, it looks like it's shot on videotape. Oh. I saw this alligator puppet monster thing, and I thought, okay, maybe it's a monster movie where, like, the alligator attacks people. And I thought, okay, let's try to watch this.
So here's where I struggle.
I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what's this? Let's try to watch Roller Gator. This is the second time we tried to
watch it, and I fell asleep. But here's the okay. So
I did fall asleep towards the end.
Here's where I struggle.
And got really annoyed with it.
I struggle with this. Yeah. With anything, anybody saying okay. I guess I have to give credit where credit is due. Somebody had a vision. They came up with a project. They saw the project through, and it's complete. Okay. But, that being said, that's like saying I'm going to make a door for your house, but then they make a door made out of, dog poop. It's just like, okay, it's a door, but it's made out of dog poop.
Or like those beaded curtains.
But it's made out of dried dog poop. It's like, okay, you finished something. You made beaded curtains for me, but it's all dried beads of dog poop. So what?
So this movie is pretty much dog poop. Is that what you're saying?
Is it? I don't even know what I saw.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Worse than Beast of Yucca Flats.
There's two redeeming qualities. If you want to see Joe Estevez, he's a B-movie actor. I like him. I think he's all right. Conrad Brooks is in it. He was one of the policemen from Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I don't even know what he was.
But he's in there somewhere. I don't remember.
His name is in the credits.
I don't remember what character he played, but he's
Joe
in there
Estevez,
somewhere. So if you want to watch those two for like a minute and then turn the rest of the movie off, it's okay.
I like David Waldman's Joe Estevez, Martin Sheen's more talented brother. Now that's a riff from Soul Taker, which I love. I love that movie.
That movie's good.
That's a great.
That's
movie.
A good bad movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But this thing.
Yeah, I liked Joe Estevez in that one.
Joe Estevez in some other crazy movies on that Riff Tracks channel, which one's called, San Fran Psycho. That's a pretty wacky one.
I never saw that one.
It's on Riff. Oh, it's so good.
We'll have to watch that one sometime.
They shoot all these things in the same, like in someone's like, in the back of someone's office, like that's a police station. It's amazing. At least that has something going on. This Roller Gator movie. It's like
so. I guess the Roller Gator puppet monster thing is like this little guy who looks like an alligator thing, and I guess he talks to this girl, and this girl is trying to save him from a carnival, because the guy running the carnival was mistreating him. So it wasn't even
and
like...
there's a ninja.
It wasn't even like a scary monster movie. He doesn't like eat people or attack anybody. He's like, help me! And he just talks way too much in the movie.
Just let people know we haven't smoked anything or dropped anything.
No, there really was a talking alligator. We really did see that in the movie.
And a ninja.
And a ninja, yes.
For some reason.
For some reason, there's a ninja chasing him. And the ninja isn't very ninja-like.
It's really... I've never seen... Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's like, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's like, it's okay to have... There's a difference between bad movies. Like, and this came up all the time. It always comes up. But forever, people are still with Plan 9 being the worst movie ever made.
No, Plan 9 is wonderful. It's a wonderful masterpiece.
Plan 9 was Citizen Kane
compared
to Roller Gator.
That's like one of the best good bad movies ever. It's perfect. It's in really, every way possible.
It's, yeah. As opposed to like Stan and Ollie, where you sit there.
Stan and Ollie's perfect.
And an hour and a half
that movie was great.
Goes by like that.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the length of a movie. I'm not a size queen when it comes to movies, or a length queen. But I don't. I like I said. I think it's funny when people go, "I'm not watching that movie. It's 3 hours long." Well, what are you going to do instead? I'm going to go binge watch 5 seasons of The Walking Dead. But that's
like going to be 10 hours long. Yeah.
You could sit still for that, but not a 3 hour. Because, well, that's not a movie. Yeah, but it's still hours. It's okay, whatever.
Roller Gator seems like they were trying to do a trauma. Yeah.
Trying to.
Keyword try.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But it just... they just didn't do it. That's all.
David Stoner, Roller Gator is that constant guitar noodling that just drives you crazy.
That's
and the weird background music where it just sounds like someone playing on the guitar over and over again.
Diddling on an acoustic guitar.
And it's like maybe their friend Todd, who could play guitar because he took 2 classes once.
But understand this.
And they recorded it, and then, hey, that's perfect. We're going to use that as our background for the whole film.
Entire film.
The entire film.
There's no film in the world that has music constantly playing.
Yeah.
And it's the same diddling on the, fumfering on a guitar.
Just like
It's
it's so bad.
I don't know.
I'm like, this music
how could
sucks.
this get worse? Oh, they have music.
Yeah, it just doesn't stop.
It's torture.
Yeah. So we didn't get through Roller Gator. I don't remember how it ended.
I don't care.
I don't
I
really.
just that it ended. It was merciful.
I don't think we're missing anything. So if you want to torture yourselves, watch Roller Gator.
Kev Thulu asked a very interesting question. If you could pick any movie to feature on The Mummy and the Monkey, what would it be?
If we could pick any movie?
Mummies first.
Any movie at all?
That's cool. That's a good question. It's different than what's your favorite movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The original.
Interesting,
yeah.
Or, no. Tourist Trap.
Oh, there you go.
Tourist Trap. That's like a way... Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
That's like one of my favorite 1970s horror films. Yeah.
Huh.
Tourist Trap.
I like that. That's a good one. That's one you don't see a lot.
Yes. It's very underrated.
It's a really weird movie.
It's very underrated. It's such a good movie.
Let's see.
It's so creepy and weird and creative.
It would fit our show, too.
And it would fit our show because it's like...
It's so strange.
It's so strange. If we could get the rights to play that one day.
Maybe for me, the first Twilight movie. So good.
What?
Yes. No.
No.
But it might work for our show because I would just make fun out of it. But the only way I could watch those movies, was it 3 or 4 of them that came out? Riff Tracks riffed all of them. That's what I have, and I watched those versions. I don't think I could watch them, without being made fun of.
Bone Jangler.
Hey, Bones.
He says that's what I expected you to say, Janet.
Oh yeah, that is. It's hard to top that one. You got me on the ropes with that one. I'm trying to think of something that's like, because I don't want to say because it would.
Chuck Connors is nuts, says Kev. Yes, and I like Chuck Connors. I liked the show The Rifleman. I do like some of the old school Western stuff too. So to see him in that as like this psycho with psychic powers, it's like. Whoa.
I know what I would like to show. But I'm dead honest about this movie. A movie called The Manitou.
The Manitou?
The Manitou. That's this weird movie.
I don't think I've ever seen The
You
Manitou.
did. It's with Tony.
Did I?
It's Tony Curtis. They put him in this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis' dad.
Okay.
And it's about a little Indian. Remember that thing that's grown in that woman's back?
Oh,
it's like
yes,
a demon.
that movie's freaking weird.
Another weird movie that that doesn't get.
It is so weird.
It's
yes,
and then
now
ends
I
in the,
remember.
when they walk in the hospital room.
It has to do with Native American folklore.
Yes, it's a Manitou.
And there's this. Yeah, it's just so bizarre, and the effects are creepy.
Yeah, I like movies like that. Yeah. That are like, what is this all about? And like, what is that? The name is.
I just
weird.
couldn't remember. Yeah, I did watch it with you. I just didn't correlate the name with the
Manitou
movie for some reason.
Movies like that.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah,
that would be cool if we could host
Why
that.
is it? It's with me. Motel Hell's kind of hard to get through. I have a version of Big Chuck and Little John hosting that movie.
Oof, it's a pretty rough.
But I think it would fit the show.
A blood and guts type of movie.
I think it would fit because it's kind of goofy when they cut people. Isn't Norm in that movie from Cheers? I think he's one of the people buried in the garden. I think so. Right? Am I right about that?
I'm not sure. Let's check comments here. Paul says The Void and The Battery double feature.
Yeah. Well, I know a Cherry movie it would be fun to show, The Mist.
Oh gosh, that's a sad movie.
That's a one and done
I watched
for me.
it once and I'm like, I can't watch this again. It's too sad.
It would be too hard. Yeah,
it's way too sad.
Ending. It's unbelievable.
Kev Thulu says Tourist Trap and Motel Hell double feature.
That would be good.
Wow, that would be a cool double feature.
We could rock that.
Yeah, maybe one day.
We could. I mean, if we.
Bone Jangler says he is. Norm is in.
I remembered that. Yeah, it's Norm. It's the guy George Wendt.
Benny says good movie, The Mist. Yeah,
it is.
It is a good movie.
You can't watch it more than once.
It's like sad.
There's something wrong with you, I think, if you go watch that one.
It's like, oh my gosh.
It's for what it is.
So much doom.
Yeah. To me, it's almost like 10 times worse than Night of the Living Dead as far as the... Mm-hmm. Like, that I can get through, and the ending's
very sad.
But
it made me so sad when I first saw Night of the Living Dead.
But The Mist took it like...
Because you're rooting for the hero, you're hoping they make it through, and...
No, not The Fog. That's a boring movie.
Stuff happens.
No, The Mist. It's based on a Stephen King short story, right?
I thought it was, but I'm not a Stephen King expert. I like a lot of his stories, but I'm no expert.
You know what? The Thing with Two... You talking about the Rosie Greer movie? The Thing with Two Heads?
The Thing with Two Heads.
Ray Milland? That's another good one.
Oh, that's a neat one. Yeah.
That would
be a cool one to show.
That one, Big Chuck and Little John used to show back in the day. Yeah, yeah, that's true, Paul. It's
Ooh, sorry, big yawn there.
I just can't. Humanoids from the Deep.
Humanoids of the Deep.
From the Deep. That or Chud.
Chud.
Those early 80s.
Yeah, some of those are good.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Phantasm.
Oh, you know what? That's my favorite.
Greg says Phantasm. That's a great movie.
God, yeah.
That first one is like my favorite Phantasm. Halloween 3.
Now, Phase 4.
Season of the Witch.
Syphilis. What's that?
Halloween 3 is my favorite one.
Slithis. Yeah, Halloween 3 would be great, too.
That's my favorite Halloween movie.
Everybody loves that movie.
Yeah.
You better, if you don't.
It's so messed up.
Octoman
so good.
is a classic.
Oh, Octoman's amazing.
That's a Rick Baker monster, I believe. Or was it Baker or
That's such a fun movie.
I forget if it was Stan Winston or Baker. I can't remember.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, I never liked that movie. I tried watching it back in the day when it was like camp. It was a trauma type of movie.
Yeah, it was. I like it.
It was so goofy.
I like it because it's so goofy.
Of the Killer Tomatoes.
And then the sequel with all the product placement, like they.
Yeah, Reb Ohio's right. Gargoyles would be right up there.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That's when I really.
Creature Features has hosted that one.
It seems like a lot of people do.
A lot of people have hosted it, so I'm hoping one day we could host it if we get the.
We'd have to be able to get the rights to it, yeah, because it's technically not a public domain movie.
Yeah.
But what is anymore? I don't know. Evil Dead would be, God.
Oh, yeah, everyone loves Evil Dead.
That would be the double feature 1 and 2.
Svengoolie played Tomatoes last week. It was fun. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I remember watching that way back in the day, like late 80s, I think I might have picked that up.
All right, gang, let's wrap this up here. David
Stoner
says Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah, that's another one that was a classic. Would come on the late night on Big Chuck and Little John, and that was one of my favorites. The little the Zuni dolls underneath the door with the
little
trying to get Karen Black with the spear.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he used to scare the crap out of me.
Rick Baker is Octoman.
Rick Baker.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Okay, you were right.
That was my first. Yeah.
He did a lot of good effects.
Eating Raoul.
But I couldn't remember if he did that one. Dawn of the Dead would be fun to show. Yeah.
Equinox, yes.
Equinox, well, that inspired the Evil Dead movies.
Yes, I would love. I mean, that has so many cool like monsters in it, like the stop animation, stop motion monsters. I would love to show that. There's a lot. I mean,
there's so many we would love to show.
I don't think you can go wrong with any of those, but
we're limited on what we can show.
It doesn't have to be obscure. It just has to be something that
Yep.
But yeah, it's all fantasy right now, anyway.
All right, Groovy Ghoulies.
Hey, I like the remake of Pet Sematary, by the way.
Well, if you want to hang out and chat more, Grim, you can.
We're good. I'm gonna. No. You don't have to do that. It's
I think I'm gonna crawl back into the sarcophagus here.
You always do. But yeah, I think we put in the hour. That's cool. Well, hey, it's been really cool. Again, we're off next Friday, but we're going to be at the Necronomicon.
Acronomicon. So speaking of Evil Dead, Acronomicon, that's a great name.
Which has nothing to do with Evil Dead.
No, it's a one-day horror theme convention, and we will be there Saturday, February 1st. Gene, thank you for the super chat. He says, cheers to all the Big Chuck fans out there. That's really sweet of you. Thank you. And if you guys like chatting with us, if you like our videos, please remember to subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications. Ding. And you can hit the like button. And we do appreciate all of you for tuning in and watching. And, good night. Good fright for now.
That's right. Mwah. And we'll see you later, alligators.
Bye-bye.
And end stream.
Oh, I'm cold.